Built on the grounds of the former Petamon Raccoon Golf Course, Beaver Valley Mall would officially open September 23, 1970 with 100 stores. The first anchor of Gimbel's had opened the previous November, and a few other stores would also open prior to the grand opening, which featured appearances by Miss USA Debbie Shelton, Burt Ward, who played Robin in the Batman TV show, and the Cregan Puppet Group. The vintage 70s design featured real orange, lemon, and avocado trees, imported lava rocks, and petrified wood. Entertainment at the mall included the Beaver Valley Cinema, which operated 2 screens until 1992, and Ciro's Top of the Mall Supper Club, which brought in singers, comedians, and other performers regularly until closing sometime around the end of the 70s. Skipper, the performing dolphin, was on hand for the mall's first anniversary celebration. The mall also had its own mascot, Bonzi Beaver, though I couldn't find any photos of him. In 1972, a kangaroo from a traveling zoo escaped as they were packing up and led police on a 5-hour chase in the nearby woods. When Chatham Sports Center opened a new location at the mall in 1976, 2 NFL players, an NBA and NHL player were all on hand for signings. President Jimmy Carter seems to have had a soft spot for the mall, appearing there for an election rally in 1976, then shaking hands inside in 78, as well as a fundraising event at the top of the mall. Beaver Valley would reach its peak in 1979, with around 100,000 shoppers recorded in a single weekend. It was in the heyday that the mall would find itself embroiled in the first of several murder mysteries. It was October 21st, 1977, when John Feeney picked up his girlfriend Renee Greger to go out for pizza at the Beaver Valley Mall. The following day, police would find John dead from a shotgun blast inside his car at a local Lover's Lane. To this day, Renee has never been found. Convicted serial killer Edward Surratt would confess to the crime in 2007, but his statements were too vague to be officially charged. In 1982, the mall was noted as having a high number of car theft and sexual assaults, at least one of which turned to murder. February that year, Sandra Vespazzini was sitting in the parking lot waiting for a friend to finish shopping at the Shop and Save when someone abducted her and her car. She would be found the following night dead of stab wounds to her neck and the car set on fire. Charles Holcomb would be given the death sentence for the murder, but months after his execution, crimes continued to happen at the mall, which was noted as not having its own security force. A year later, the same store she was sitting outside of would catch fire and spread to several surrounding stores in the unconnected plaza. The original mall owners would sell it in 1985, but continued on as the managers. That same year, the first real estate kiosk in the country would open inside Beaver Valley Mall, a trend that never seems to have caught on. It was 1996 when Brian Samuel was arrested along with 2 of his classmates for murdering the 16-year-old's parents. In the weeks after the murder, before he was linked to hiring the other boys, he was noted as acting as though nothing had happened, even purchasing $300 worth of shoes and clothes at the Beaver Valley Mall. All three boys were given a life sentence for the murders, which was a result of Brian's parents trying to cut him off from his wealthy grandparents. When Boscov's opened inside the former Joseph Horn Company Anchor in 1998, they brought actress Anna Maria Alberghetti for a musical performance in the mall's community center. That same year, Jim and Diana Burrow purchased a $40 million lottery ticket from the lottery kiosk at Beaver Valley, reappearing for their first installment check ceremony held here. In 2001, when a new mall opened nearby, Beaver Valley spent $500,000 on Christmas decorations to keep their customers, theming it off of the new movie Stuart Little and creating a life-size replica of the family room from that movie as Santa Claus's stage. They also had a, quote, shrinking chamber that would morph guests down to the size of a mouse, a replica biplane pulling around Happy Holidays banner, and keychains or watches for the first 1,000 visitors. In 2013, a student at the Attached Alternative Education School was arrested for bringing a gun in the mall food court. But back in 1986, police were searching for a cool and polite man who was robbing fast food restaurants around the county, including at least one inside the mall. Other recent crimes at the mall, including a man taking apart a self-pay kiosk inside to steal the money in 2021, and a bomb scare in 2023. The first of two renovations to the mall would come in 1990, when $6 million was spent modernizing the concourse, adding skylights, the small stage, a community event room, and the food court was added along with a new glass entrance, which drew the attention of New York Times, who did a piece on the architecture. In 1998, that entrance would be replaced by a new fourth anchor when Sears joined the mall, followed by Dick's becoming the fifth anchor in 2007. Just outside the food court in today what is a hibachi restaurant is the former Chi-Chi's, which was the site of the largest hepatitis outbreak in the United States, leading to 660 cases and 4 deaths.
The sign on Chi-Chi's in Beaver County is clear. The restaurant is closed. Chi-Chi's says it plans to reopen within the next 72 hours with the approval of health officials. If you ate at this Chi-Chi's anytime within the last 14 days, the health message is see your doctor. And to all consumers says, we're taking appropriate action in conjunction with public health officials to ensure the safety of employees and patrons alike. But the Chi-Chi's spokesperson I talked to says she tested all 62 employees for hepatitis A and expects the results, well, now within the hour. This incident, by the way, underlines the importance of a new food code going into effect soon that bars bare hands, washed or not washed, from touching ready-to-eat food. Live in the newsroom, I'm Yvonne Zanos, KDKA TV News.
The investigation would find that scallions imported from Mexico were the cause of the outbreak, leading to the entire Chi-Chi's chain closing. Following the epidemic, local legislators held a press conference where they ate food from the food court when a nearly 40% decrease in customers was reported. By the end of the decade, Beaver Valley had begun to see an increase in vacancies as online shopping began to take off. Sears would close in 2016, followed by Macy's the next year. In 2018, Rural King would move into the Sears spot, while the Macy's began renovations into the Shops at Beaver Valley, which was to be a mixed-use section opening in 2020. With the pandemic, plans would be postponed, with just Firehouse Subs opening and U-Haul taking up the back section. As more national chains vacated their spaces, Beaver Valley turned to unconventional tenants such as 3 separate schools, Adiago Health, and the Center at the Mall, a senior community center with windows facing out into the concourse. While Beaver Valley Mall's heyday is long behind it, with 4 anchor stores still in operation and the 5th divided into smaller shops, the mall is far from dead as many claim. And hopefully, this beautiful mall will continue operation far into the future.